Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. This is going to be split up into a 2 or 3-parter, mainly because I'm going to be working in real time for this one, so you can see the entire process, not sped up, and no titles or anything else distracting in it. I'm just opening my file from my files folder, and I've got this photo of Jakku Cosplay, who is an incredible Northeast based cosplayer. We shot this a couple of years ago. She had the Gamora outfit made, that sword 3D printed. She wasn't painted green for this shoot because we were a little restricted on time, and obviously we can do it in the post-processing. So I've just duplicated the file, the background file, and I'm just expanding it to get rid of the chair you can see in the background, as it is quite distracting. Don't worry, we are going to select her too, but we're just going for quite a better composition. Not so much negative space, and we can get rid of the background distractions. At the moment, I'm just tweaking it to how I want it. I want it to have some sort of a movie poster kind of look to it. So I'm just going to take the whole photo, which is cool. So I'm just in the selection tools here, and I'm just gradually just drawing around the selection persona. I was going to call it a studio. I will get used to all these different menus. In the selection persona, using one of the selection tools, and just a quick selection, I am just drawing around here. We will refine this before applying it. Now it's quite difficult for hair. Just shrinking the brush just to add more to the selection. I have got add selected in the mode at the bottom there, and I'm just drawing around. It has selected a bit more than what I wanted, but we can refine this later on. I'm going to refine parts of it now, but some of the bits we can refine it as we go along. The hair's a tough one. This tool's pretty good. It will pick up most of it. It just depends on your photo, how much the hair blends in with the background, how much time you have, and how much patience you have. I have zero patience, so I'll end up making more work for myself. Bad habit. Just draw around the hand here. It's not quite selecting it properly, but like I say, we can, because we're going to be making a layer mask, we can work more with this. So just going in and drawing more. Yeah, it's struggling in this area, but you know what? Like I say, not a big deal. I would like the sword to be refined a bit more, but I might be able to look for this one. It's easier to do the sword anyway, because we can use the pen tool and draw around it. As long as we get most of the hair done in this, then I'm happy. Super duper happy. Just weighing up my options here. Oops. It does take some time, like I've drawn over that same part several times there. Depending on your image, like the tones, the luminosity, everything depends on how well this is going to work. And again, like I said before, time and patience. So I'll just continue to draw around. The more you can get done now though, the less post-processing work later on that you will have to do. Oh, now this one's going to be a pain, isn't it? Let's just shrink that little brush. If you're using the keyboard, you can use your left and right bracket to adjust the size. And I'm just doing the 2-finger pinch to zoom. Oh, this is doing a lot better. pushing my luck. I'm seeing if, depending on how I draw it in, if it actually affects it. The answer is a little bit, not much. My mask still is going over. Do you know what? It's better than what it was. I will say that much. We'll soon find out how bad it is once it comes to making the selection. Like I say, because I'm doing this all in real time rather than recording and speeding it up, you will get to see all the mistakes. But it's also easier to follow along if you do choose to. We're getting somewhere. I've currently got my output to new layer with mask. You can obviously click on it and change your options, but working with a mask will allow you to work non-destructively, which is what you always should strive for. Because any mistakes you make, you can go back and change them further down the line, which is great for client work. It's really struggling with the fingers there, but like I say, further down the line, if I can't get it to work now, I'll just refine it using the layer mask. I'm just going around the edges just to make sure I get a good selection. The hair's a fun one because obviously it's got red in the hair and we're using a quick mask, so that's red too. Okay, so it's not done a bad job with the selection. It's created on a new layer and you can see that there is a layer mask on it. I've just hidden the background layers so I can really focus on how this looks. And the cool thing is, because I've used a layer mask, none of that information I've just used has been deleted. It's just hidden. So now I can come in and assess how much of this I want to bring back or how much more I've got to remove. So, yeah. Just using 2 fingers to zoom in and out here. Clicking on the layer mask here, just so I can refine this a bit more, and just zooming in because you can see where it hasn't quite picked up between her hair and the sword, and I just want to clean that up a little bit. I'm still using the paintbrush tool. I could use the pen tool to draw around it. But that's not really what we want. So just coming in and just working this a little bit more. Gotta have a pretty steady hand for this. I do find it very therapeutic. Obviously there are quicker ways, but you do have to get some sort of enjoyment from your work as well, don't you? It also helps using the brush in your layer mask in this sense because we can blend into the hair a bit more. If we use the pen, we'd have to feather that selection and we wouldn't want that around the sword and would have to reselect for different places. But this way, 2 birds, 1 stone. That already looks a lot better. Let's just zoom in for that little area here. And just refine that. What I've just created is a pixel layer below the image, and I'm just going to fill this with color so I can really see what the selection looks like. It's quite hard to see it on the transparent background, so by dropping in a color behind this layer just allows us to view it easier. We can really see how the selections worked and where we need to tidy up. So the red would make the hair difficult to see, so I'm going to use blue, so hopefully we can see Not the mistakes, but some areas we need to work on. Like this little area here. Let's just draw this in. So now I'm using the pen tool just to show you another way of doing this, and I'm just clicking and dragging to draw around this area so I can make a selection so I can use the paintbrush a bit more freely, so I don't have to worry about going over any lines. It's like colouring in, except removing the colour. So let's get rid of the outline. Make it a selection by hitting selection. Now we can go back to our layer mask and just draw 2 erasers. And there we go. I've inverted the selection, and I'm just going to tidy up just around it. Because you can see there's a bit of the blue creeping in on the legs and the jacket there. Obviously I'll come in and work on it a tiny bit more, but let's get rid of the bulk of it first. And again, just using the pen tool to draw around. I may come into some problems here with the hair, but we'll work with it. Just continue to draw. Undo, redo. They were godsend, those little arrows in the right hand corner there. Oops. I always find the pen tool and using the palms of your hands when you're moving around the document a bit awkward, but it's just because I'm so clumsy I end up clicking off the path and creating a new one. I've just made that selection there. Making sure I've got the layer mask selected again. I'm just going to grab the pen tool, switch the colour back to black to hide it. And that's helped refine that selection. Now if we invert the selection by going to the selection, well, the options in the top left hand corner, and we change the colour of the paintbrush, bring it to white, this just allows us to bring some of that detail I was losing because of the way I refined it earlier. And that's just giving us a more solid look here. Do you know what? This isn't looking too bad. It's amazing you can do all of this just on an iPad. Right, so I'm going to refine around the sword a bit more. In hindsight, I could have used the pen tool to draw around the entire thing, but I wouldn't have been able to pick on some of the strands of hair as well as what the tool did, so I'd rather it picked up the hair and I have to refine everything else, which is easier because they're more solid shapes, than have to sit and draw every strand of hair in. Oops, just undo that. It's frustrating, isn't it, when you hit shortcuts and you don't mean it. Okay, I'm just going to complete that path so I can create a new selection and then work on my mask further. I think when it comes to photo manipulation, photo editing, masks and layer masks are one of the more powerful tools you could ever use. They're just magic. And the best thing is, if you learn how to use this tool, you can use this across so many other bits of creative software. So just refine that a little bit. Okay, this is looking good. Just going to fill in this colour a bit, just to check some things. No, loving it. So I'm going to leave this one here. In the next video, I'll quickly refine some of these selections again. Then we're going to drop in our background as well as turn Jakku Cosplay's skin green to give her that Gamora look. So yeah, I'll catch you all in the next video.